Welcome everyone to another video. Today I will be walking you through how to remove all viruses, malware, adware, and spyware off of your Windows PC. And this will include a full deep clean to help optimize your computer and make sure it's running at its peak efficiency. Please be aware that I will list all of the steps down below in the notes down in the video description along with timestamps, and all of the important links will also be listed down below. Yes, I am doing this on Windows 10, however, if you are using an older version of Windows, this will still work for you. For step number 1, if you go down to the notes below and underneath step 1, just click on the link there and it will take you to this page for Malwarebytes, which is a free anti-malware scan. We're just going to click on the free download, and then it should just automatically start to download. Once it's done that, just go ahead and run the download. And then on this window, just select Personal Computer. And then we're just going to go ahead and install. And then on this window, we'll click on Get Started. We will click on Maybe Later, and then Get Started again. Now a couple things before we start the scan, we want to first come up to this gear icon, and underneath the General option, click on Check for Updates. And then once you've done that, just go ahead and click on OK and come over here to Security. Scroll down just a little bit, look for where it says Scan for Rootkits, and we want to turn this option on. And then we're just going to click on this little X here, and then we'll go ahead and click on Scan. And you just want to let this run until it's fully completed. Once the scan has completed, it will give you a list of results if any are found. Just make sure that all of the boxes are checked, and then you'll just want to go ahead and click on Quarantine. And if it prompts you to restart, just go ahead and click on No, we will restart later. At this point, you can go ahead and close Malwarebytes and then go back down to the steps down below in the notes. And underneath step 1, there is a link for the second scan we're going to run, which is also free. It's MZSoft. And so go ahead and just click on the Download Now button. Now you do not need to fill any of this out. Just go ahead and let it download. And then once the download is ready, go ahead and open it up. And then we'll just click on Yes, and then Yes again. And then on this window, we'll click Install. And then when this pops up, just double click on Start Emergency Kit Scanner. Click Yes. And then on this window, go ahead and click on Accept. And it should have updated automatically, but just go ahead and click on Update Now just to confirm. And then once you've confirmed it is up to date, just go ahead and click on Malware Scan. And then just same thing as with Malwarebytes, just let it sit and run until it's fully completed. If any results are found, it will give you a list and then give you the option to quarantine and remove them. Now it did find some results, so we're just going to go ahead and click on Close, and then we can see our list here. We're just making sure all of the boxes are checked, and then we're going to go ahead and click on Delete Selected, and then we're going to go ahead and click on Yes. And if you get a restart prompt, just go ahead and click on OK. It will force a restart. Now after the computer restart, we are ready to move on to step 2, and so if we go back down to the notes below underneath step 2, just click on the link there. It will take you to this page, which is for the free program CCleaner, and we will be using this to remove all the garbage data off of the computer. And if we go down the free column, just go ahead and click on Download. And then once the download is ready, just go ahead and open it up and click on Yes. And then from here, click on Install. If it gives you an optional offer, click on Decline, and then uncheck the box and click on Run CCleaner. And then if you get this window, just click on the X. And then come over to the left where it says Custom Clean and click on it. And underneath the Windows tab, just basically match your settings to what you see here. Don't check anything below Windows log files. And also just make sure you don't have anything with passwords in it checked. And so again, just match your settings to what you see here. Underneath Applications, your application list may be a little bit different. But with the browsers, again, just make sure you're not checking anything other than what you see here on your screen. And then once you've matched those settings, just go ahead and click on Run CCleaner, and then go ahead and click on Continue. If it prompts you to close a web browser, just go ahead and click on Yes. And if it prompts you to force close it, still click on Yes. And once it's finished, it will give you a report. And next you will want to come over here to where it says Registry. Just make sure all of the boxes are checked, and then go ahead and click on Scan for Issues. And then once it's reached 100% completion, just double check the list, make sure all of the boxes are checked. And then you can click on Fix Selected Issues. And then just go ahead and click on Yes to back it up. Go ahead and click on Save. And then click on Fix All Selected Issues. And then click on Close and go ahead and run it again just to make sure it didn't miss anything. And on the second scan, it said no issues were found, so we are good to continue. And at this point, we're going to go ahead and click on Tools. And we want to come down to where it says Startup and click on it. And it will give you a list of all the programs that are set to run in the background every time you turn the computer on. And so we want to disable as much here as possible, so that way it'll help optimize the computer and keep things from slowing it down. And so we're just going to double click on an item to turn it to a no, so that way it doesn't run in the background. We're just going to do this for everything. Now, exceptions would be if you have anything to do with your security or like an online backup or anything that you know that you specifically need, you can go ahead and leave those turned on. But again, turn off as much here as possible to help optimize your computer. Now, I did just realize this one right here does have to do with my security, and so I'm going to go ahead and turn that one back on. And then once you have finished going through this list, I do recommend that you come back down here to the Start menu and type in Task Manager, and then just go ahead and click on it to open it up. And then here in the Task Manager, look for the Startup tab and click on it. And this will give you a list of all your startup programs. And for the most part, it's going to match the list you have here in CCleaner, but sometimes stuff will show up here in the Task Manager that doesn't show up in CCleaner and vice versa. For example, Spotify is showing up here, but not in CCleaner. So you do want to make sure that you go through both lists just to make sure nothing gets missed. And so I'm going to go ahead and disable Spotify so it's not starting up every time I turn the computer on, and then we should be good to go. Once you've gone through this list, you can go ahead and close CCleaner. We are now ready to move on to step 3. And for step 3, we just want to come down here and click on the Windows Start menu and type in Control Panel. And then we're just going to go ahead and click on Control Panel to open it up. And look for where it says Programs. And then click on Programs and Features. And this will give you a list of all the programs that are installed on your computer. Now, you want to make sure that you do a really good job on this step, because if you've had a problem with your computer running slow or pop-ups or problems with viruses and malware, most likely something here is causing that problem. Most likely something bad was installed on your computer. And so a couple key pointers. The first thing I would do is just go through this list and remove everything you know you no longer need or use. Just get rid of all the junk. And to do that, you just select an item and then click on Uninstall to remove it. I would also keep a special eye out for anything that claims to be a cleaner or optimization program. Make sure you remove those. Also make sure that you keep an eye out for anything that says toolbar. Get rid of those as well. Also look to see if you have more than one antivirus program installed, because you never ever want to have two. All it does is slow the computer down, causes problems. It does not increase security, so make sure if you have more than one antivirus, you get rid of the extra one. Additionally, we want to remove the programs we just installed. Do not leave them on the computer, because we're trying to optimize and clean out the computer, not add to the clutter. So right now I'm just going to click on CCleaner, click Uninstall, click Yes, click Next, and we'll go ahead and get that one off the computer. We'll click Finish, and then same thing for Malwarebytes. We're going to remove it as well. We do not want to leave these on the computer, so I'm just going to go ahead and click on Yes. And we can now see that those two items are removed off the list. So again, just take your time on this step. Go slow. You don't want to miss anything. Just do a really good job on this step to scrub your computer and get all the garbage and junk out. And if you come across something on this list and you're not sure what it is, you can go down to the notes below underneath step 3 and click on a link there that will take you to this page. It's called shouldiremoveit.com, where you can type in the name of a program here in the search box, and then it will give you a rating to let you know if you should remove it. Anything with an orange, yellow, or red rating, you know you should remove it. If it has a green rating, you can go ahead and keep it, but everything else with red, yellow, orange, get rid of it. Also for Windows 10 users, after you have finished going through this list, come down here to the bottom left corner and click on the Windows Start menu and type in Settings, and then just go ahead and click on Settings to open it up, and look for where it says Apps and click on it. And this will give you a list of all the apps that are on your computer, and you will also want to go through this list because there's some things that will show up here that will not show up in the control panel. And so again, just take your time, go through everything on this list, and then if you see something here that you need to remove, you just click on it and then click on Uninstall to get rid of it. For step number 4, we need to go through and clean out and manage our storage. And I'm first going to go over the steps for Windows 10 users, and then in a moment I'll go over the steps for Windows 8 and Windows 7 users. But here on Windows 10, if we come down here to the Start menu, just go ahead and open it up and type in Storage. And then we're just going to open up the storage settings. And here it's going to give us a list and a breakdown of everything that's taking up space on our computer. Please note that once your disk drive passes about 80 to 85% full, it's going to start to slow down. And so if you're dealing with issues with like long load times or just your computer's running slow, then you're going to want to go through this step and clean out all the garbage. Please note up here at the top, we do have the option to configure some automated settings to go through and clean out automatically. And then you do want to go through this breakdown. And for example, if documents was taking up a lot of space, we can click on documents and then just click on view, and it will take us to our list of documents so we can go through and delete out the things we don't need, or we can move them to a backup service or storage, whatever we need to do. But I do just recommend that you go through each category, make sure everything's been cleaned out. And then if you have additional drives, you can click down here on view storage usage on other drives, and it will give you a list of all the drives in your computer, and you can just click on one and it will give you a breakdown list for that drive as well. One tip I do want to point out is make sure you definitely check your temporary files, because I have seen this on multiple computers get to a very large size. For example, I've seen it get up to 50 gigs and beyond. And so it just varies from computer to computer, but make sure you're checking this category for sure. And please note that by default, downloads is not checked. And so you do want to go through and make sure you're cleaning out your downloads folder. Make sure you're not keeping anything there that you no longer need. If there are things in your downloads folder that you do want to keep, move them over to a more permanent folder. Now for Windows 7 and Windows 8 users, what you will do is go down to your Windows Start menu and you will type in File Explorer. And please note, depending on which version of Windows 7 or Windows 8 you're using, you may need to actually type in Windows Explorer, so please be aware of that. I'm going to go ahead and open up the File Explorer, and then in the left-hand column, look for where it says This PC, or it may say Computer, and you'll want to click on it, and then locate the C drive and right-click on it. Go down to Properties, and then make sure you have the General tab selected. And then right here we have a disk cleanup option. If we click on it, it's not as robust or as informative as Windows 10, but it does give us some options. You can definitely go through this list. You'll notice that it does display temporary files, so you can go through here and clean these out, as well as right here it will give us a breakdown as to how much space we have free on our drive. For step number 5, we need to go through and clean out all of our web browsers, and so we're going to start off with Google Chrome. And so with Chrome open, I'm going to go to the top right corner and click on the menu button, go all the way down to Help, and then over to About Google Chrome. And this will just confirm that Chrome is up to date. If it's not up to date, it will automatically do an update and then give you a relaunch button to restart Chrome. After we have confirmed we are up to date, we'll want to come to the top right corner, click on the menu button, and go down to More Tools, and then over to Extensions. Now the first thing you want to do is come up here to the top right and make sure that the developer mode is turned on, and then come over here to the update button and click on it just to confirm all of your extensions are up to date. Now this will give you a list of all the extensions that are on your Chrome browser. Extensions can be fun, they can be convenient, they can even be productive, but they are terrible for security, they're terrible for privacy, and if you've had problems with pop-ups or viruses or malware, there's a good chance you have a malicious extension installed on your computer. So I strongly recommend that you remove all extensions, or at least as many as possible. The only exceptions I would make are the default Chrome extensions, or if you have an extension that happens to be a password manager, I would keep that as well. But everything else I would remove. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to at least disable the default Chrome extensions while they're not in use. And then again, I'm keeping the password manager, so I'm going to disable that as well because we don't want to get rid of it. And then if you have an extension that you absolutely cannot part ways with, at least disable it while it's not in use. Everything else we're going to remove. And so I'm going to click on this remove button, click remove to get rid of it. And then we're going to do the same thing for this one as well. Just click remove and get rid of it. And so just make sure you do a really good job to clean out your Chrome browser, get rid of as many extensions as possible. Now after you have finished going through your extensions, what you'll do next is come back to the top right corner and click on the menu button, and this time go down to Settings. Now we need to check a few settings just because if you've had malware issues, they're often going to change settings on your browsers. And so the first setting we want to check is our search engine. We're just going to type it up here in the top, and then we're going to come down here to where it says search engine, and this drop down menu will allow us to select whatever search engine we want to use. And if we have a suspicious or wrong or bad search option here, we can go to this option below where it says manage, and it will give us a list of all these search options, and we can come over here to the menu and click on remove from list if we want to get rid of an option, and now it's gone. But again, just use this drop down to make sure you have the default search engine you want to use. The next setting we want to check, if we come back up here to the top, we're going to type in home, and right here where it says show home button, we're just going to flip the switch on, and we're just going to select this bottom option to make sure that it's the home page we want to use. We're just going to type in whatever home page we want to use on our Chrome web browser. I'm just going to type in Google. And then the third and last setting, if we come again back up here to the top, we're going to type in Startup. And this is what will open when you first open Chrome on Startup. And so I'm just going to, again, go through these settings to make sure we have the one that we want to use. I'm going to select this bottom option, and then I'm going to add a new page, and we're just going to, again, type in Google, so that way it opens up every time I open up Google Chrome. And so those are the three settings you want to make sure you check in Google Chrome. Next is Firefox, and so if I open up Firefox and go to the top right corner to open up the menu and go down to Help and then About Firefox, this will just confirm that Firefox is up to date. If not, it will automatically update and give you a restart button. And then once you've confirmed you are up to date, we can just click on this X, come back to the menu, and this time go down to add-ons and click on it. Just make sure you have the extensions option selected in the left-hand column, and then come over here to this gear icon and click on it, and click on check for updates just to make sure you are up to date. And then the same rules apply here as with Chrome. We want to remove as many as possible. The only exception would be a password manager, but if there's absolutely an extension you refuse to part ways with, at least disable it while it's not in use. And so I'm going to disable our password manager while it's not being used. And then I'm going to use the remove option to remove this other one. And one thing I should also note, if you ever see an extension that has the word toolbar in it, get rid of it. You just absolutely need to get rid of those because they're almost always bad. And so again, I'm going to use the remove option to get rid of this other toolbar. And so we have now cleaned out the extensions here in Firefox. Next, we need to go through and check the settings. And so again, back to the top right to go to the menu, and this time go down to options and click on it. And the first thing you want to check is just click on the home option. And right here, we can double check to make sure the home page is what we want it to be. And so I'm just going to type in a custom URL. I'm going to type in Google. And then also just double check the same thing for new tabs, make sure that's what you want it to be. And then also come over here to search. And right here, we can just double check to make sure our default search engine is what we want it to be. And then if there's one that we need to remove, we can just come down here and click on it and click on remove to get it off the list, and so it will no longer show up here on this drop down menu. The next browser is Microsoft Edge, and we need to first go over the old version of Edge, and then in a moment we'll go over the new version. But here in the old version, if we come to the top right and click on the menu, we can go down the list to extensions and click on it, and it will give us a list of the extensions on Microsoft Edge. And same rules apply. Remove as many extensions as possible. If you're going to keep something on the browser, at least disable it while it's not in use. And then to remove something, we just click on this little gear icon, and then we can go to uninstall, and then OK, and it will remove it off of the Edge browser. Next, to check the settings, we just come back here to the top right and click on the menu and go down to settings. Right here is the startup option. We can just click on this drop down and make sure that's the option we want to have. And so I'm just going to type in a custom URL. We'll just type in Google and then click the little save option. And then if we go down the list, click on View Advanced Settings, and then right here at the top we can turn on our home page and then click on the drop down to make sure that it's the home page we want to have. And so again, I'm just going to type in Google and then click on Save. And then next, if we scroll down to the privacy and services section, right here we have the option to change the search engine. If we click on that, we can see what the default is. Now, for example, if I want to change this to Google, in Microsoft Edge we have to first visit the site. And so if I go to google.com, and then if we go back to our settings, so we'll click on settings, and then go back down to view advanced settings, scroll back down to privacy and services, click change search engine. We can now see that Google has been discovered, so I can click on it, set it as default, and then if there was an option here that we wanted to remove, we just select it and then click on remove to remove it off the list. And then the last browser, the new version of Edge built on Chromium, I'm just going to open it up here and go to the top right corner to open up the menu and go down to help, and then over to About Microsoft Edge just to confirm we are up to date. And then after that, go back to the top right corner to open up the menu, go down to Extensions. Just the same rules. We're going to make an exception for our password manager, so I'm going to disable it. And then all other extensions we are going to go ahead and remove. And then once we've done that, just go back to the top right corner to the menu, go back down to Help, and then over to About Microsoft Edge. And then after we've done that, we can just come over here to the search box and type in Home and hit Enter. And right here, we can just confirm our home page is what we want it to be. We can just type in what we want our home page to be right there in that input box. And then next, we'll come over here and type in Startup. And right here, we can just confirm our startup settings are what we want them to be as well. And then for search engine, just type in search. And it's actually going to be this bottom option that says address bar. If we click on it, right here we can click on the drop down menu to confirm our default search engine. And then if there's one we need to remove, we just select this bottom option, and then we find the one we want to remove, and then just go to the remove option, and it removes it off the list, so that way when we go to the drop down, it's no longer there. For step number 6, we need to check our antivirus program and run a full system scan. Now I'm just using the default Windows security here on this computer. However, I will list down below in the notes down in the video description links to other free antivirus programs you can use if you would like a second opinion scan. Regardless, never ever use more than one antivirus program at the same time, so please keep that in mind. Whichever antivirus program you use, you'll need to locate it. Usually you can just find it down here in the system tray, but you need to go ahead and open it up. And the first thing we want to do is make sure it's up to date. Again, usually you can just come down here to the system tray and right click on your antivirus icon. There's usually a check for update option there, but it does vary from program to program, so you will need to locate it in your specific antivirus solution. Once you have confirmed it is up to date, the next thing you need to do is locate the scan option and make sure that when you run the scan, it's a full scan. Don't do a quick scan because that can miss things on your computer. So again, go with the full scan, go ahead and let it run till it's fully completed, and then if it finds any results, just make sure you select the option to quarantine and remove them. For step number 7, we need to run a defrag on our computer, and to do that we'll just come down here to the Windows Start menu and type in File Explorer. And again, if you're using an older version of Windows, it will be Windows Explorer. Regardless, just go ahead and open it up, and in the left-hand column, look for where it says This PC, or it may say Computer, and click on it. Locate the C drive and right-click on it. Go down to Properties, and then look for the Tools tab and select it. Click on Optimize, and in this window, it's going to list all the drives in your system. Now, underneath Media Type, you want to first make sure it says Hard Disk. If it says solid state drive, like it does here, you do not want to run the defrag. And so right here we can see that it's currently turned on. And so because we have solid state drive, we want to go ahead and click on change settings, uncheck the box, click OK, and that will turn it off. However, if you have a hard disk, what you'll want to do is leave this turned on, and also you'll want to select the hard disk and then click on optimize to go ahead and run the defrag on the hard disk. Make sure you do that for each drive that you have that's a hard drive on this list. For step number 8, which is the final step, we just need to do a final and last restart on the computer. So to do that, we just come back to the Windows Start menu, click the power button, and then click on Restart. After your computer has restarted, you should be done and ready to go. However, if you do still continue to have issues after going through all those steps, at this point I would recommend that you back up all of your important data and then reset Windows or reinstall Windows. And I do have a tutorial on how to do that. I will link it down below in the notes down in the video description. Also, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to post those down below as well. That's everything for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great day. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you found it helpful, please go ahead and consider sharing it. And please also consider subscribing to my channel, and don't forget to hit that bell icon to get notifications on future videos.